Whoa, let's go. Here we are. Fantastic. That music is going pretty hard. That music is going absolutely ridiculous. We need to turn that down. Lordy.
Well, a voice never lies, and yours clearly is the voice of a gentleman.
Clearly is.
What will London have to say to me?
I still hear voices in my head every night.
Every night.
My mother had a beautiful, soothing voice.
Yeah, I gotta adjust that. Woo! Just so everyone is well aware. Oh. Well, alright. We need to turn our, Oh, I could have turned mission reminder off. Oh well, whatever. Gotta see our hood. Go! So we are continuing where we left off. Bum 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 bum. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to another Vampyr episode. Another Vampyr episode. I would like to apologize for my audio. I don't like my own voice. It's alright. Let's do this. Let us continue where we left off. We must examine William Bishop's blood. So, we analyze. Got more XP. What did that get us? Ah, small bag of junk. We'll need that. We need to sell this watch.
William Bishop's blood is much more unstable than human blood and shows extensive mutation. But this is not what happened to me. I must keep on searching. The sun is about to rise. I can feel it. I'll continue tomorrow night. I have so much time.
Yes. Lots and lots of time, Jonathan. We have to rest in bed.
The flower's dying. It needs water.
A sink. Sink, sink, sink. Okay. We have glass vials. Nah. We must not advance time yet. We have people to meet. Hacksaw. 65 damage. So, hacksaw 65 damage. That's 45 damage. 15 attack speed. 15 attack speed takes a little more stamina. 65. 20 stamina. Attack speed is slower, but 75 damage. Let's go take a look at this sword, though. For real. For real, let's go take a look at this sword. Our back door isn't open yet. We must go downstairs, 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 downstairs. Lots of people to talk to and meet and get to know. And I think items respawn after every time progression. I know there's two dudes down here somewhere. Won't let me teleport over.
It's locked, all right.
You can't do nothing. Woo! Long way from being able to do absolutely anything. Finally. Look at this sword.
It's locked.
Level 10? Level 10? Whoa!
It's one of them!
Ooh! Oh! We got fired to death. First death. First death. My fault. My fault. Too terrible. Too terrible. Too terrible. I have risen! Let me try that again. I have risen! Nice sword, though. You can hear them skulls. This episode is probably going to be primarily meeting everybody and speaking. Learning. It's locked, alright. Let's go sell that watch to Milton. No. Let's go sell this watch to the Indian guy in the back. Where is he? Where is he? He's back here somewhere. He takes from the dead bodies back here. Anyone who dies, he takes their stuff and sells it.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed. Always a pleasure to meet a colleague, sir. Especially when he was supposedly dead.
A colleague? Are you a doctor too?
Not anymore, sir. I used to be Dr. Rakesh Chadana. Now, I'm just Mr. Chadana, pawnbroker and humble guardian of this morgue.
What do you mean, you used to be a doctor? Was your license revoked?
No, sir.
Ooh,
It is just that I
license
like to
was
be precise.
revoked.
I run a little pawn shop while taking care of the dead. But I used to be a real doctor.
Please show me what you have to sell.
Of course. It's just trinkets and curios, really. But I'm sure...
Common trigger part. What's he got? An enigmatic formula. Yeah. Let's get that. Okay. I think it's all
Tomorrow,
now.
more. Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Do you work here alone?
Yes, very easy work,
Ooh.
sir.
Asking
All I
if
have
he
to do
works
is
alone.
watch a few bodies. The situation was very different when the main morgue was still open.
Why do you have to watch these bodies?
Because these poor fellows have no names. We keep them in case someone comes looking for the missing. Sadly, very rarely happens.
Why close the hospital's main morgue?
It was for sanitary reasons after the beginning of the epidemic. Cadavers had to be moved to the nearest mass grave.
Have we met before?
I don't think so, sir. Why?
When we first talked, you said you were glad to meet me since I was reported dead.
Funny story, sir. Your sister came here a few nights ago. You were missing, and she was looking for your body. She must be very relieved now.
That's so sad.
Are you afraid or uneasy being surrounded by so many corpses?
Why should I? These bodies are empty vessels. Flesh left to decay. Poof. No soul anymore. All gone.
How did you get this job?
After I left the army, I worked as an undertaker down by the docks. A dangerous place with many an unpleasant business there. Milton Hooks helped me get a job here.
An interesting point of view. And quite an exotic one, too. Most people fear, or at least have a respect, for dead flesh.
Sir, as a medic during the war, I learned to face my death and the death of others. It's the pain we have to tame, not death itself.
Rakesh is not afraid of death since he served as a medic. We gotta find his hints.
A pawnbroker? I expect you get all types of people here.
Yes, sir. All kind of people. For I sell all kind of goods.
Who comes here to trade with you? It's very unhygienic, even unsafe. Diseases can spread. For the customers, for the hospital.
I'm very cautious, sir. I've been a doctor, remember? And all my clients are good people. In fact, I think I only know good people.
What kind of goods?
With the quarantine, it's not always easy to buy.
Since you're not afraid of dying, do you believe in life after death, Rakesh?
No. I believe we must do all the good we can while alive. For our time is short, and the obstacles are endless.
Do you think you enjoy immortality as a concept?
I don't think so. Don't mistake me. I love life, and I'd like to live a long life. But everything has to decay, sir. Even goodwill.
So you're ready to die?
No, I am not. I don't fear death, for I won't see it. What troubles me is the pain my death will inflict to those I know.
You're a wise man, Mr. Chidana.
No, Dr. Reed. I am a foolish man. But I like to think otherwise.
Do you really believe goodwill cannot last?
As I said, sir, everything decays. If I was to never die, goodness,
Oh boy.
I would be bored
That's,
or worse. And I like to be helpful, sir.
Tis
Quite
our fate.
depressing, wouldn't you say?
Yes, But the
Tis
good
our
news
fate.
is, we'll all die before losing our humanity, sir.
Goodbye, Mr. Chidana.
I think we need to find
More
everybody's
bodies will
hints in
arrive
this
and then
playthrough.
sadly depart. I'm managing a trade.
Good old Nurse Crane. Did we get all we needed?
What can I do for you, Doctor?
Thank you.
We got her.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reed? Yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly Ackroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival inconvenience you in some way, Dr. Ackroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swans's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated dabblers.
It seems you have bad memories of your military service.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd. I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
Knowledge has always been and will remain our main weapon, and it has always come at a price. And personal initiative.
It is not a question of initiative, it is a question of integrity. These men and women have put their faith in us, Dr. Reed.
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr. Swansea, but over time, his enthusiasm has become displaced.
Carelessness? Exactly what are you talking about?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation. They're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position. But I don't agree with it.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
There is no need for such animosity between us. Don't you think the epidemic is already enough to deal with?
That is one point we could agree on. And that is precisely why I want to be sure that you will be of help to this hospital, instead of a burden.
Since your
Let's just say
carelessness,
we're here to save
I don't intend to run.
modern...
All right.
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
But in the circumstances,
Alrighty.
I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Good evening, madam. Can I help you?
It's my son who needs you, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. How can I help your son?
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer Goswick. Could you check on him, please, Dr. Reed? I've heard much of your talents as a physician.
What can you tell me about yourself, Mrs. Goswick?
Not much to say. Just take care of my Mortimer and I'll cover all the expenses. That's all that matters.
May I ask if you have an occupation, Mrs. Goswick?
I'm a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are more ambitious about their futures than their families.
What do you think of your reception here? Any complaints?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital since we arrived. But we had no other choice, considering the state of emergency.
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming. I suspect they're not accustomed to dealing with
welcoming.
patients of such social standing.
Of such social standing, really.
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital. What gave you such a bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
People Hawkins! Ooh. Dirty.
I share your concern, Mrs. Goswick. Be sure that I'll talk to the people involved.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reed. But I'm aware such behavior would not be tolerated in other hospitals.
She charged you for a bed?
Yes, and I paid without question, considering the urgency of the situation.
Well, I'd never.
What can you tell me about...
Not much.
Are you really that...
Yes.
Okay, we got that. Got whatever we could here.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Let us talk to dear Mortimer here.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed. Can I help at all?
No,
Really? Why are you here, then?
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts too much.
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here. Is someone taking care of you?
Yes. And no.
Could you at least tell me your name, sir?
Mortimer. Mortimer Goswick.
Why did your mother have you hospitalized here? She seems convinced this is a bad hospital.
My mother just wants the best for me. She won't rest while I'm here. She'd go all the way to hell and back to help me.
Poor guy's fatigued.
Pembroke Hospital may look unorthodox, but rest assured you're in good hands here.
It's not me you have to convince, Dr. Reed. It's my mother.
Is your mother bothering you? As your doctor, I can ask her to leave you alone if you would prefer.
That's tempting, Doctor. But you have no idea what my mother is capable of. She would tie herself to my bed if you asked her to leave.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and his patient have to communicate, sir. Would it help if I gave you some paper and a pen?
Not really.
I see. Then maybe it's not just your throat that hurts, Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just the consequence of something more hurtful.
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to talk or even write about it now.
Tell me about
I don't want to.
how
I'm so pa-
I'll let you get some...
Good evening, sir.
Okay. Let's try and talk to her again.
Good evening, Doctor.
Okay, so can't advance her at all.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Alrighty, Rue. Let's get on with it. To talk to this guy.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed.
May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see. Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Aykroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there. Doctors are no different from carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is, I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured.
Wow.
Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't lie to you about it.
Ugh, the flu.
I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed? I have the feeling you're very capable. And your colleagues seem to think so too.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility. My apologies. Tell me about yourself, Mr. Fiddick.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work and to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing before being hospitalized.
I'm a carpenter, and a good one too. But that means I need both arms to feed my family, Dr. Reed.
Yes. That is very important, sir. Now I have to go talk to the doctors about it.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick.
I have to
I'll
go
see
talk
you later.
to Strickland and Aykroyd.
Reads me like a book.
What's
Never could
Need glass vials. Another patient, yeah. Take that. Okay. You have to talk to both doctors. Let's talk to
I
him
will
again.
not let you down, my boy.
Good evening, sir.
I'm quite busy right now, Dr. Reed.
Alright, so can't talk to him.
Thank you
yet.
for your time.
We have to find the other doctor. This guy. Gotta talk to this dude.
Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good fortune. Such an honor, sir.
Thank you. And you are?
I am Thoreau Strickland, Dr. Thoreau Strickland. I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reed.
What do you think of Dr. Aykroyd's aversion to modern
I
medical
love
methods?
this power.
It's a shame he's so narrow-minded. Dr. Swansea taught me that science is about exploring uncharted territory. I'm convinced that's true.
With the influenza and all that's going on, you should put your differences aside, don't you think? Why is it so difficult to work together?
I believe that if Dr. Aykroyd had been the one to discover the transfusion process, he would be the first to recommend its use.
So you believe it's just a question of jealousy and pride?
Dr. Aykroyd is as proud as he is blinded by his obsolete concept of medical science.
What can you tell me about the Pembroke?
Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea. But with your arrival, I can't think of a better opportunity to learn about blood transfusion.
You seem quite optimistic. Do you need my help?
You seem quite optimistic. It's a rare and precious attitude in these difficult times.
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test of endurance and dedication for us men of science.
Questions remain about our capacity to resolve the situation.
True, true. Last summer, during the first wave of the epidemic, I used to joke with Milton about the extra work. We're not smiling now.
Do you need help with anything in particular?
Well, yes, maybe. I'm waiting for a batch of products I ordered for my personal research, yet my supplier seems to have vanished.
Do you want me to play the errand boy for you?
Oh no, Dr. Reed.
But if you went personally to his shop, what with your reputation and all, he wouldn't dare to refuse the products I need.
I see. Well, give me the address, for I may pass by if I have time.
Local, citizen investigations. Excuse me. Citizen investigations displayed here, categorized by districts. You can start a new citizen quest by tracking it with square, access to your map to locate area to explore. Righto. Oh, man. Okay, square? No. How do we get back to that? We need to get back to that, bro. Someone help me! Help me! I don't... Oh, no! Oh, okay. Reach the pharmacy. Pharmacy. Player main quest makes local investigation. Right here, right here. Missing ingredients. We have to find it.
Please, could you tell me something about yourself?
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning blood transfusion, Dr. Reed. I run my own experiments. I'm convinced it's the future.
Hold on, guys.
What made you choose to be a doctor?
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have inspired me. I am honored to have the opportunity to work by your side.
Dude's really weird.
It's always a pleasure to share scientific and medical knowledge with someone eager to learn. I'll be glad to help you if I can.
I'm trying
This
to do a
epidemic
bad
may be the
playthrough.
century's most terrible disaster, but I'm convinced that we, as doctors, are the only ones able to defeat it.
I based my technique on my mentor's research. He helped me perfect my method. What is yours?
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theories and first
I
approach.
think-
My process is purely experimental and unsuccessful.
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may remain empty-handed, but you won't fail.
You're not the first one to warn me, but I am convinced knowledge is the main weapon against the ravages of this epidemic.
I believe his methods are extremely non-ethical, or how he's doing it is extremely non-ethical. I can't quite remember in particular. Here we go.
Tell me more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly. I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him.
What is it you really want? To save him, or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reed. Especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story.
Tell me Mr. Fiddick's story.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury. He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father, ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
Excuse me. Okay.
This personal involvement could also appear to be a lack of impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain neutral.
I agree. But that does not excuse Dr. Aykroyd's behavior, a man who did not even take time to converse with his patient.
Do you think keeping his distance was a mistake?
All I know is that I'm taking care of human beings with desires, hopes, and fears. Not some biological machine comprised of blood, bones, and flesh.
Patch Adams, man. Patch Adams. Patients are just more than that. Someone is not having a
Goodbye,
good
Dr.
time.
Strickland. Good evening, Mr. Fiddick.
Good evening.
You seem worried about the safety of your family. And it's obviously the reason why your wound troubles you so much.
I cannot give up on my children now. They both need me living.
What about their mother, if I may ask?
She died in 1915 during one of the first Zeppelin raids. We never found her body.
Oh, man. He is not worth devouring. We could right now, but he is not worth devouring. Not enough XP.
Tell me about your injury, Harvey. Why do you feel so guilty about it?
My wife died because of me. And now I may lose everything because I've been careless enough to hurt myself. What an arsehole.
You can't hold yourself responsible for your injury, Mr. Fiddick. Unless you tried to hurt yourself.
Of course I didn't hurt myself. But I can't work until my arm is fixed. My children need to eat, Doctor.
How could your job be responsible for your wife's death?
I was working a double. She went out to bring me a hot meal and got caught in a German bomb raid.
Yeah, but sounds like someone's not having a good time.
Tell me more about the death of your wife, Harvey.
1915. I was in the army. Building workshops for the Royal Flying Corps.
We are going to
Helen
save
was
this
happy I wasn't
man!
sent to the front.
What happened?
The Germans sent Zeppelins to bomb
We're
the
going to
construction
eat
site,
every
but they
bad
missed their
person
target.
in this game.
My wife was bringing my dinner when the bombs fell.
I'm sorry for your loss. So many died during the bombings.
We need to unlock every hint.
I served in France and witnessed the carnage there.
I would like to say that she didn't suffer. Truth is, I have no idea. I just know that I'm all that me kids have. Poor little bleeders.
Poor little bleeders.
How are your children after losing their mother?
They were smaller then. The only good thing about this is my Helen didn't bring them with her that night.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
Now we have to go talk to Aykroyd.
Reads me like a book.
We gotta go talk to Dr. Hemroyd. Is that him? Yes, it is.
I'm quite busy right now, Dr. Reed.
Tell me, Waverly, what do you think of Dr. Strickland's enthusiasm for his experimental research?
Strickland is playing with his patients' lives for pride and glory. Now that, sir, is unethical.
Are you thinking about something in particular?
Harvey Fiddick needs delicate surgery. I believe we should stick to the usual procedure, but my young colleague obviously disagrees.
Why do you wish to lead this surgery?
I strongly believe that Mr. Fiddick should not be butchered to test an unproven procedure.
I really hope you're right about this, Dr. Aykroyd. I'm trusting your judgment on this.
I'm not the kind of man who runs away from his responsibilities, Dr. Reed. There is no need for you to be looking over my shoulder.
And are you not afraid that your rivalry with Strickland may be blinding you?
Rivalry? I guess you could call it that. But I will never be childish enough to let my personal feelings affect my judgment.
I believe he's capable of doing it.
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
I believe he's capable of doing it. I believe that, hey man, it could always, I don't know, it could go either way. need to speak with her eventually, and those two crazies over there. We're not going to speak to Milton yet. We will have to. Let's speak with him.
Good evening, sir.
So it is true. The famous Dr. Reed has joined us. I can't think of any better news during these terrible times.
Do we know each other?
Actually, yes. We met once before, at the Rockefeller University in New York.
Dr. Tippett, yes, I remember. I was assisting Professor Carell in his research about coronary bypasses. He had nothing but praise for you.
He was also very confident about your future. And look at you now. Eminent surgeon and blood transfusion specialist.
Return to London, a vampire.
What is the Pembroke Hospital situation? And please, speak freely.
This hospital is not exactly the best of London. I'm sure you are used to working in a better environment.
Now, Pembroke Hospital is home. We need to keep home stable.
It's more than enough. In any case, the personnel of a hospital are much more important to me than the building.
Don't be misled by appearances, Dr. Reed. This hospital does not lack talented people. It just lacks hope.
What can you tell me about the staff in the hospital?
Some are really good, and others are not so good. But during this troubled period, there is no time for slander. I prefer to focus on the positive character traits.
Tell me more about cherished people, then.
Nurse Brannigan is a pearl. She is the most helpful and dedicated nurse I've ever worked with. A clever and cheerful woman.
You really seem to admire
He's got a crush.
her skills.
Oh. And we got a hint with her.
I'll go even further. If she was a man, she would be a damn fine practitioner.
Any opinion about the management?
I don't always agree with Dr. Swansea's reserve, but I must admit he does all he can to keep this facility running during this crisis.
Ah, yes, the burden of command. I was fed up with this concept while serving as a medical officer.
Don't get me wrong. Swansea's a good administrator. I just wish he would get out of his office now and again.
Alright, I think we're done here.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
We have to... I don't know if this will be triggered for it yet. Okay.
I cannot enter.
I don't know if it's an event that'll be triggered yet. Where, oh where? It's up here, it's over here, right here. I don't think it'll be triggered yet. Oh! We need his blood. Bro, we really need to not use this sword. Yeah. Oh. I don't know if there's a block button. Yeah. Look at that. You're dead. Ah. Dead. 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 Haha, you all die. Haha, I'm the winner, see my prize. You're the loser, sits and cries. Ha. Oh. Aw. Looks like we found a hint about Milton. Where are we? Can we go through this alley? A little shortcut through here. Oh dear. Level 10, level 11. We're gonna have to run for it.
Watch yourselves! There's one of them!
It's the only way. Oh, totally not fair.
This is not a place for you, sir.
Run.
Stop each spotted! Watch out, boys!
Ah! I don't think we're gonna be able to make it, guys.
It ain't human! Kill it!
Skulls. Ah. Where? Where's this citizen? I must save him. Ah! Oh, that was totally not cool. Oh, he said naughty language. He said naughty language. He said naughty language. He said a naughty language. He said a bad word. He said a bad word. I have risen! 10 shillings, watery, blood sample. Oh man, we're totally not going to be able to defeat him. We have to upgrade. We have no choice but to upgrade. And with that, I have to cut this episode short. not a complete eventful episode, but we will definitely continue in the next episode. It will be out extremely shortly. If you watched, thanks for watching. Peace out.